get those lines, they're eventually going to drop in the right places and going to allow to hits.
Called strike 2 to Walters. Walters pops it up, foul territory. Koipel coming over, looks like he's going to have room. He's onto the warning track and makes the catch in foul territory to retire the side. But Sean Skelly's 6th home run of the season gets the Hawks on the board, and after 2, it's 4-1 Great Falls.
Tina is all about keeping good energy in the room. From her happy cats to being good energy smart, like replacing all her bulbs with LEDs.
Wave birds.
More good energy tips at idahopower.com/save.
Some health plans serve members with these. There's one health plan that serves members with these.
Pacific Source, this is Jay.
Pacific Source Health Plans, going beyond what's required to put members first.
Hi, it's me, Bob the Money Tree Caterpillar. You know what bugs me? Other installment loans apply most of your early payments to interest, and it takes forever to make a dent in the principal. Don't wait to pay down principal. With a Money Tree installment loan, you'll start paying principal from the start. It's a more principled loan. Visit a nearby Money Tree branch or go to MoneyTreeInc.com to learn about the Money Tree installment loan today. That's MoneyTreeInc.com.
No one wants to deal with water, fire, or mold damage. Pursuit Restoration is Idaho's premier master water and fire restorer company. We are a 24/7 emergency service provider. Our technicians can be dispatched within 45 minutes from the first call. We are a full-service contractor who can provide the cleanup process and full rebuilds to make your property look like new. Many times, we can even find options to update and upgrade if needed. Your home is your happiness. Let Pursuit Restoration help restore it.
So we move to the top half of inning number 3, and it's an early Mr. Mudd call to the bullpen as Noah McBride, the left-hander, gets the call. So he takes over for Spears, who goes just 2 innings today. And McBride facing Christian Koipel in a lefty-lefty matchup with his team down 4-1.
And this is McBride's 19th appearance. He had one yesterday, and that ties him for the second most on the team with Drew Marufo.
Koipel swings and misses, and it's 1-1.
So far, McBride, he's pitched 20 1/3 innings. He has recorded an ERA of 3.92, and as mentioned, he only went 1 inning deep in yesterday's game.
Bounces that one in there, and off Skelly to the backstop, and it's 2-1. That one just missed. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Well, now when it said on appeal, they called it a swing.
Okay.
I thought it was in the zone. And to me, there was no way that he swung. But the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one misses. They check swing, say he went around again, and Koipel is tagged out, and Tommy Thompson has at least a stare, if not some words, for the third base umpire. So the tide turning a little bit here as the Hawks, they get a pretty good gift right there.
Yeah, I may be a little bit Hawks biased, but I just don't think that was it. I don't think that I think he that was a check swing they pulled in time.
Yeah, there's no way the second pitch was a strike. The third one was a little bit more questionable, but strike 2 was definitely a bad call. So pitch is now 1 ball and no strikes to Anthony Herron Jr. He grounded to third his first time up. Two balls and no strikes now. Pitch misses, and McBride falls behind 3 balls and no strikes. So after getting Koipel, he is in danger of walking Herron here. And you think about it, again, McBride's not looking that sharp to get off to the start here. It should have been potentially a 5-pitch walk, but 2 check swings go his way, and now behind 3 balls and no strikes to Herron Jr. So McBride's not dialed in just yet.
And if you're Noah McBride, you probably weren't really expecting to go this early on into the game, so that might be a little bit as to why he's getting a little bit of a later start, slower start.
Hit the outside corner with that pitch, and the count now 3-1, so trying to work his way back into it here. Lefty delivers, and that one is fouled off as Herron Jr. did him a favor there. He swung at ball 4. You don't think you'd see McBride for more than 2 innings, and I'm not sure he doesn't go. He only goes just go the 1 as this pitch is lined to right field. Jorgensen with a good angle to cut it off, and with that, he's able to hold Herron Jr. to a single.
And that's just a tough give right there, because if you're Noah McBride, you allow him to get to 3, or you go up to 3 balls, you batter your way back into the at-bat, delivering 2 strikes, and then you give up the single there where, it seemed like it was kind of going into your favor by the end of the at-bat, but then it ends up getting the single.
Well, the good news is he's starting to zero in on the strike zone, as that pitch was a glove strike that was hit by Herron Jr. That one just outside for a ball to Langston Ginder. Ginder singled to open the second and came around to score the first of 2 runs in that inning. Great Falls with a 4-1 advantage here, top half of inning number 3. Long way to go on a Sunday afternoon at Memorial Stadium. This one's hit in the air, center field. Oyama is over. He's all over it. Now the ball keeps drifting on him, and Kenny makes the play. Didn't think he was going to have to go that far to get it, but he stuck with it. And Ginder is out number 2. But talking about McBride, he went last night, so I wouldn't think you'd ask him to give you more than an inning today. He's 2 outs into his outing with Billy Hancock coming up.
McBride said he knows that that's a possibility, that he could go back-to-back nights. So what he likes to do after he goes for a pitching day, he likes to do squats and get rid of the lactic acid after he's done pitching, so he'd be able to go the next day.
This one hit high in the air to deep right field. Jorgensen going back, looking up, and it's gone. So Billy Hancock rides one out of here the opposite way. It's a 2-run homer, and for the 3rd straight inning, the Voyagers have scored a couple, and it's now 6-1 Great Falls on Billy Hancock's 4th home run of the season.
That's not the first time Billy Hancock has hit a home run against the Hawks. He ended up driving one deep in the 2nd game of the 2 or 3 game series when the Hawks previously faced them. The Voyagers ended up winning that game, and that was a huge help from Hancock's home run there.
So here's Charlie Hess. Hess popped up a bunt his first time up. Now he shoots one in the left center field gap. Oyama over to try to cut it off, but by the time he got to it, Hess was around first, and he steams into second with a 2-out double. And for the 3rd time in 3 innings, Zane Washington, the leadoff man, will get an at-bat here. So McBride got some help from the third base umpire to strike out Koipel. Gave up a solid single to Haran Jr. Got Jinder to fly out. But then a home run from Hancock and a double from Hess, the number 8 and 9 hitters in this lineup. And if you're Great Falls right now, you're getting production out of the 7, 8, 9 guys. You know it's going good because it drops off once you get past Haran Jr. in terms of average and some of the other numbers. But the 7, 8, 9 players today, 7, 8, 9 hitters today have done some damage as well. They've already collected 3 hits, 2 of them for extra bases. And here's Zane Washington, the leadoff man. Mentioned it's his 3rd time up, and we're only in the 3rd inning, and he takes a strike. Washington bounced to second and knocked in a run with a single in his first 2 trips, so he's 1 out of 2. 7 hits already for the Voyagers in the ball game. Again, they have scored twice in each of the first 3 innings. Still batting here in the top of the 3rd with now a 6-1 advantage. This one fouled back and out of play, and it's 0-2. See some youngsters in the crowd today. Of course, it's Kids Club Day and an opportunity for kids to run the bases, maybe walk today with the heat we've got going on. Get them some liquids and let them walk around the bases. That'll take place in the post game. Pitch is down low. Nice job by Skelly to block it. The count, a ball and 2 strikes.
We didn't have a Sunday game last week, so they weren't able to, but we were allowing all the kids to run the bases on Friday to stall some time after a quick game, and they had the fireworks show, so we needed to get a little bit darker to stall time, and that was a really fun experience because we had one kid just keep on running all the bases at the end of the game.
And he ran them in, I think, his own order, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It was just however he saw
Well,
it
he
fit.
started on first, and he just kept on going there.
There's a line drive over Kaler's head. That's a base hit. Around third to score is Hess. Washington has his 2nd RBI single of the ball game, and the Voyagers extend the lead to 7-1. And it's going to take a lot of offense, obviously, today, Adam, but at some point, somebody on the mound is going to have to put up some zeros.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just really tough because you've really not helped yourself out and given yourself any favors because it's 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs. I talked about this yesterday where the Hawks really needed to pitch a shutout in the final 3 innings to at least give their offense a chance. It didn't help that their offense blew a chance with bases loaded and weren't able to drive in any runs there. But at that point, you just, on the defensive side, need to give your team a chance, and they didn't really do that in the 9th inning. They allowed 5 runs, which really widened the gap.
And as it turned out, it took a 6-2 game to 11-2. The Hawks answered with a couple of runs in the 9th and were threatening for more. All things being equal, it would have had a much different feel if that is 6-4 instead of 11-4. 11-4, of course, is what the final score wound up being. Today, 7-1, only in the 3rd. So the good news is plenty of opportunities left for the Hawks offensively, but they're still trying to get out of this top of the 3rd. The runner goes, pitch is swung on and missed, and the inning is over. But the Voyagers pick up 3, and after 2.5, it's 7-1 Great Falls. Home half of inning number 3, 8-9-1 coming up. Alex Beza leads it off, and he takes a ball, and it's 1-0. So if you're Tyler Nauman, you've had the easiest day so far. Your teammates have given you 7 runs over the first 3 frames, so a lot of margin for error here on the mound, and pitches in for a strike. Mentioned Nauman started the first game of the series, only went 4 innings, and did not qualify for the victory. They checked the swing on Beza. They say he went around. So it's now a ball and 2 strikes. Beza, 6 for 18 in the series, 7 runs driven in, and it's, Adam told you earlier he's homered in 3 straight games. That pitch is fouled off. A little bit of research says that at least over the last 2 seasons, Beza is the only Hawk to do that. That one missed somewhere. It was very close. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one misses as well, and it's 3-2. Grounded foul, and Bays is in a battle right here as it's been 7 pitches thus far. Three-2 to Beza again. This one looped out into shallow left field. Haran Jr. coming on. It's going to hang up, and he makes the catch, and Beza is retired for out number 1. So here's Kenny Oyama. Kenny's got his average back up over 300. He comes into the ballgame at 301. 4 for 18 in the series. That one's down low for a ball. We see Hancock behind the plate going to that, most of that one knee approach. He had the left leg extended. There it is. And Oyama hits a slow tapper to second. Throw to first, not in time as Kenny beats it out. A little bit of a lackadaisical effort out there by Hess. That ball was not hit that hard. And he didn't charge it, just kind of waited for the ball to get there. And the nonchalant effort cost him as Oyama was hustling down the line all the way. Kenny's smelling a base hit, and he has one. So he's aboard with 1 out. Maybe that'll get something going for the Hawks as Cole Kaler at the top of the lineup stands in. Pitch is in for a strike. Would love to see one of those innings where the Hawks have had several this year where they just start to string hits together. The next thing you know, crooked numbers go up on the board. Right now, the Hawks would love to see that because they're down 6. But again, only the 3rd inning. Plenty of time to get back in this one. And maybe that single boy Oyama starts it. But Kaler hits a fly ball to center field. Washington is there. He squeezes it. And there's 2 gone. And that brings up Derek Maben.
Now batting the Bullpen, the shortstop, number 22, Derek Maben.
Maben grounded to short his first time up. Ground ball right side off the glove of the second baseman and into right field as Hess, who was a little slow in handling the ball off the bat of Oyama, now misplays the ground ball off of Maben's bat. So a 2-out error puts runners at the corners. And that gives DJ Poteet an opportunity here. So Great Falls defense right now has gift-wrapped a couple of base runners, and DJ Poteet trying to cash them in. In the lefty-lefty matchup, he takes a strike called, 0-1. DJ grounded to second his first time up, still 6 out of 17 in the series. Average is now dipped below 390. Again, he's a guy who has gone back and forth with 400 this year, and he swings and misses, and he's down 0-2. So we mentioned the Hawks had some 3 balls that were hit for loud outs early in the game. Now a couple of ground balls that wind up resulting in an infield hit and an error that were not hit that well. So starts to even out a little bit.
I mean, it just ultimately matters that they're able to get on base, and hopefully they'll be at least able to get on the scoreboard again and cut into the deficit once more.
Called strike 3. Poteet didn't like it, but that one looked like it caught a lot of plate. And DJ down on strikes, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, an error, 2 left, and after 3, 7-1 Great Falls.
Rada Paint's Cascadia Color Expedition team is heading into the great outdoors to bring the magnificent beauty of the Pacific Northwest into our homes. Rada's color experts pick and pair their discoveries into new nature-inspired palettes, creating a new line of timeless colors that represent where we live and making it easy for you to choose the perfect colors to enhance your home's interior and exterior.
It's the Cascadia line of designer colors available exclusively at Rada Paint.
We move to the middle innings. It's 7 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Great Falls. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Hawks. Noah McBride is back out there for a second inning of relief. He came on after the starter Braden Spears was knocked out after just 2 innings. It'll be the middle of the order up. Hawks threatened in the home half of the third, got runners of the corners with 2 outs, but DJ Poteet went down on strikes to end the inning. And with that, it remains a 6-run lead for Great Falls. And again, we're just looking for a 0 on the Great Falls side of the ledger. There's a check swing in for, as they call it, a swing. Be a lot easier if he would just call the pitches that are in the zone strikes instead of asking for help on a check swing. That pitch misses for a ball, and it's 1-1. Lefty-lefty matchup, and McBride's pitch is up high, and the count 2-1. So after the Voyagers put a runner in scoring position in every inning last night, they have scored in each of the first 3 innings today. That one lashed foul. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, you got to give credit to the Voyagers because that's something that they've been very great at and excelled at, is keeping their foot on the gas and not really letting the Hawks get much getting back into games after they take the huge leads.
That one bounces to the backstop, and the count is full at 3-2. Giacomo walked and scored in the first, and then walked again in the second. And he'll walk here in the fourth. So a leadoff man aboard. Second time that Great Falls has put the leadoff man aboard. They did it in the second when they scored twice. Jalen Williams, the batter. And Gary Van Tall is going to make the call to the bullpen, so it will be another arm coming in here. I believe that was Luke Malone warming up, was it not?
Yeah, I believe so. So looks like they will be calling for Malone. And Malone on the year, he's had a couple of appearances. He's had 4 appearances. He's had only 1 decision, and that was a loss. And he has an ERA of 13.50. He's only pitched 6 innings so far.
Well, so it's the third pitcher of the afternoon for the Hawks. So Spears goes 2. McBride goes an inning plus. And it's Malone now taking his warm-up tosses. So, again, Great Falls just feeling really good about itself. Comes into Boise after a rough first half. And you go back to the 9th inning on Friday night when the Hawks had an 8-6 lead. They brought in Nate Alexander. Nate had come off the IL a few days prior, but had not been in a ball game. He was there in a save situation. Remember, he was the closer along with Dykstra before Dykstra went on the ILs. And it was Alexander's job alone while he was out, never really on the IL, but banged up. Drew Marufo had stepped in. And when the save situation came up on Friday night, the Hawks turned to Alexander in the role that he had had before the injury, and Nate was unable to close the door. And then in the second round of knockout, Anthony Herron Jr. deposited a couple over the wall, and that wound up being the difference. And you go back and think about how different this series might have been. If the Hawks are able to hold on there, they would have won 2 straight and then had Riley Weidel going last night, and you feel really good about that. But instead, it wound up being the 3rd win in the first 4 games for Great Falls. And then the Voyagers, again, routing the Hawks last night, and they've picked up where they've left off. They left off today as they've now put up 7 runs. So you go back now, Adam, do some quick math. That's 18 runs. And go back to the 9th inning on Friday night. They have scored 20 runs in their last 13 innings.
And that's just something you can't really do because, I mean, if you're trying to get in these games, you got to win those. And it's just really tough if you're that close to getting that win, especially when you're talking about Friday night. You're that close to getting the win. You're that close to going back-to-back
Hot
wins.
shot to Maben, flips to Kaler for 1, on to first, a double play. So Luke Malone comes in, and on 1 pitch, he gets 2 outs. And that brings up Christian Koipel. So Malone retiring the dangerous Williams, and now can get the Hawks back in the dugout and can put up that 0 we've been looking for on the Great Falls side of the ledger. Koipel has bounced to first. That knocked in a run, and then he struck out his last time up, and he takes a called strike here. So we said we were a little surprised that McBride went out there for a 2nd inning, 1 batter in after a walk. He was removed. Malone comes on, throws 1 pitch, gets the double play. And now that check swing foul puts him ahead of Koipel, no balls and 2 strikes. Looking for a shot in the arm somewhere, and we thought it might have been the Oyama base hit. That didn't net anything. Perhaps the ground ball that was booted with Maben at the plate opened the door, but Petit struck out. So they didn't score in the 3rd. Now Malone comes in, and he blows one by Koipel, and a nice outing for Malone as he gets 3 outs after the leadoff walk, and at the end of 3.5, it's 7-1 Great Falls. Home half of inning number 4. It's the middle of the lineup. Sam Olson to be followed by Sean Skelly and Tyler Jorgensen. And Olson hits one high in the air down the left field line. Everybody giving chase, and it falls harmlessly to the grass. Nearest one there was the third baseman, Jepson. So Olson given another opportunity.
And Olson, he's been very successful so far in the series. He's had quite a few RBI. He's had 5 to be exact. He's 7 for 15.
Lined out his first time up on some good contact.
And with Olson, he hasn't had many extra base hits, but he's been able to get those singles when it matters most. And that's been what's really been nice for the team, is when they haven't been able to get hits, they've had Olson up, and although he hasn't gotten those extra base hits, he's just gone on base.
The guy is fairly selective at the plate. And the average at 436 coming in. He lined out, as we mentioned, his first time up. Now he lines one into left field, a base hit. So Olson gets the leadoff man aboard for the first time today for the Hawks. And that'll bring up Sean Skelly. So Skelly homered his first time up. We mentioned he made the return to the lineup for the first time since June 29th in last night's loss. He was a designated hitter, and he hit a couple of balls hard, but wound up with an 0 for 5 night. First time up today against Nauman, he took him deep. And here he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. So we mentioned the Hawks get a little bit of a shot in the arm from Malone out of the bullpen in the top of the 4th. Leadoff single by Olson here. They try to claw their way back into it. Down low for a ball, and the count 1-1.
Now this is the time to spark a little bit of life for the Hawks, because Malone's pretty solid outing when he just stepped in, and then Olson leading off with that single, giving Sean Skelly, you already had the home run, so he's a little bit hot.
Takes a strike there, and it's 1-2. That one misses, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's outside. 3-2. Don't think you would see Olson go here, down 6. Now time is called, and Sean Skelly will take a moment. After today's game, you only have 15 more opportunities in the regular season to see the Hawks at Memorial Stadium. Idaho Falls is in town for a weekend series the 4th through the 6th of August. Glacier comes in the following weekend for a 3-game set. This one hit high in the air, center field. Washington has a beat on it, makes the catch, and Skelly is retired for out number 1. And you've got one more 6-game set, and that takes place August 29th through September 3rd. And Missoula is in town after that for 3 more. The 6-game series against Grand Junction, and then Missoula is in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's a 9-game homestand before the Hawks wrap it up with a 3-game set on the road. And you would like to think that there's playoff baseball here in the Treasure Valley. A long way to go there. Again, the Hawks 29-24 overall right now. 2 games out of first in the second half after finishing runner-up to Ogden in the South Division's first half race. Pitch misses, and Jorgensen's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Jorgensen grounded to first his first time up. This one is tapped to first again. Koipel goes to short for 1. The relay to first, not in time. Nauman was late getting over. And when he wasn't at the bag, the shortstop Jinder held onto the ball too long to record the double play. So Olson is retired 3-6, and Jorgensen is aboard on the fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, it's Anthony Walters at the plate.
It looked like they could have turned 2 if Nauman would have gotten there first, because they were already on the bag at second, ready to make the throw, but you just didn't have anyone to throw to because he wasn't there.
Yeah, the toughest double play in baseball in my mind is 3-6-1, and pitches in for a strike, and it's because you're asking the pitcher to come over and cover the bag. It's something he's not accustomed to, taking the throw from second base. When he goes to cover the bag, it's a flip or some kind of a soft toss from a first baseman. It's just a different angle. There's a check swing roller up the first base line. Koipel is there, couple of steps to the bag, and now we've got catcher's interference called.
Manager, attention please. Ruling on the field, catcher's interference. Walters is aboard at first.
So catcher's interference allows Jorgensen to second base, and Walters reaches. And now there are 2 errors in the ball game for the Voyagers. And Alex Beza gets an opportunity with 2 outs. So the inning would have been over. Pitches a ball, but the home plate umpire calling catcher's interference on Billy Hancock. No argument from Hancock, so he knew he was guilty as charged. And with that, the Hawks have runners at first and second and 2 outs, and still batting here in the home half of inning number 4. Beza takes a ball, and it's 2-0.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that there was another catcher's interference called on a Sunday game, and that was the Father's Day game, and Anthony Walters was at bat there as well.
Beza ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. It's a case here where you wouldn't like to see the green light. You'd just like to see Beza take one, make Nauman throw a strike here. You're down 6, so you need base runners. And he does have the green light, and he lines it in the right field corner. That's a base hit. 1 run will score. Played down there in the corner. They're going to hold the runner at third, and it's a wise decision initially. And had they known that Koipel was going to drop the relay throw, they probably could have sent Walters there. But you don't know that that's going to happen. And with that, it's an RBI double for Beza. And it's now a 7-2 ball game.
That is Beza's 8th RBI on the series for the Hawks. That's the most for the Hawks team this whole series. The second closest is Sam Olson with 5.
And the 48th run batted in for Beza this season also leads the team. And the 1-strike pitch to Kenny Oyama is down low for a ball. So we mentioned trying to build off what Malone did in the 4th. The inning started off promisingly with Olson getting a base hit, but he was still there with 2 outs, and we thought the inning was over when Anthony Walters grounded out, but the catcher's interference extended the inning. Beza, with the RBI double, gets the Hawks on the board again, so they're down 7-2, and now Oyama with a 1-ball, 2-strike count, but he's got a couple of runners out there in scoring position. And that's just outside, and the count 2-2. Fouled back, so Oyama stays alive.
It's also interesting because this Voyagers team, they've had 3 different catchers in 3 different straight games. It started off with Nick Emanuel, and then they also had Dylan Williams, who doesn't normally play catcher, and then today it's Hancock.
Oyama swings and misses there, and the side retired. But the Hawks get a run, and after 4, 7-2, Great Falls.
Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine.
Mike. He's all about keeping good energy in the room. From his wood-burning hobby to practicing good energy smart habits, like sealing around doors and windows to save energy.
Why burn money?
More good energy tips at idahopower.com/save.
Top half of inning number 5. Welcome back to the Flow Sports Game of the Week. Boise Hawks Baseball brought to you by Flow Sports. Craig Lawson alongside Adam Bridges. And here to bring you the play-by-play through the 6th is Adam.
Thank you, Craig. And leading off for the Voyagers in the top of the 5th is Anthony Herron Jr. And Herron, so far in the game, he's 1 for 2 on the night. He grounded out in his first appearance in the first, and then he got his first hit of the night in the third, and that was a single. Now, Malone, as we've mentioned, he came in the previous inning, and he had a solid performance since he started in. He was able to get 2 out in his first at-bat, and that one popped into shallow center, and it'll drop right at the feet of Oyama, and that'll be a leadoff base hit. And Malone, as I mentioned, he got into the game. He forced a double play from Williams, and then after that, he struck out Koipel. So a solid performance, and then this is his first hit he's given up. And now he'll be facing his 4th batter, Langston Jinder. And Jinder, so far, he's also 1 for 2. He had a single in the second and flew out in the third. First pitch to Jinder is called strike 1. Malone likes pitch, and it's blown away for ball 1 to Jinder. The Hawks were able to drive in 1 run in the previous innings, so they're trying to claw back into it. It'd be really nice if they're, on the pitching side, is able to pitch another 0 on the board for the Voyagers so that they would be able to get in offensively and give some help. That one's called ball 2. Now a 2-1 delivery to Jinder. Swung on and popped up into center field, and Oyama under it, able to make the play, and that is the first out of the inning. Now that will bring up Hancock, and he had the home run in the previous inning the previous at-bat he had in the third. First delivery to Hancock is called for strike 1. That one gets a ton of plate through it. That one, ball 1. That one got unable to catch the inner part of the plate. Now evens up the count for Billy Hancock. That one sliced foul from Hancock to make the count 1-2. And that one, a pitch that didn't catch any plate, but nevertheless, Hancock swung through it and helped out Malone. Malone getting ready for the 1-2 delivery. That one right through the legs of Malone over to Kaler at second. He's able to make the throw to Beza, and that is the double play that you don't normally see. And just like that, that'll do it for the top of the fifth as we now head into the bottom of the fifth. The Hawks trying to claw back into this game. And welcome back to the Flow Sports Game of the Week. It'll be Cole Kaler to lead things off for the Boise Papas Fritas. And the Boise Papas Fritas, as mentioned, down by 5 runs, looking to claw back into it. They did get 1 run in the 4th, so they're trying to claw back a little bit more. And Kaler so far in the game, 0 for 2. He flew on both trips so far. That one called strike 1, so he's facing a 1-1 count. And interesting because on the defensive side, we have Kaler playing second base, middle infield, and that's something he normally played beforehand. That one, ball 2. But he normally played before making his appearance at the Hawks, the middle infield. He played shortstop and second base, but since being on the Hawks, he's primarily played third, so he's now going back to his roots, and it seems like he's made the transition back and forth from third base to second base and back to third again. Pretty seamless. Swings on the 3-1 count, and that will go into center field, and Washington's there to make the play, so that's the first out. Now that'll bring up Derek Mabin.
Now batting for the Papas Fritas, the shortstop, number 22, Derek Mabin.
Mabin, he reached base in his previous trip, but that was off of an error from the second baseman, Charlie Hess. He holds off on the first pitch, and it's called ball 1. That one hits Mabin, so he'll take his free pass.
Yeah, the pitch actually bounced before it hit Derek, but once the pitch bounces, the batter's no longer required to make an attempt to get out of the way.
And now after the free pass to Mabin, we'll bring up DJ Poteet, given a 1-out runner on first situation. Poteet looking for his first hit. He grounded out and struck out. First pitch close to hitting Poteet, but it's called ball 1 as he's able to get out of the way. And that one, unable to catch the away corner of the plate and a little too high for the strike zone, ball 2. That one over the head of the third baseman, and now go down as a base hit, potentially more, as now Maben's reaching for third, and Poteet is going to make his way to second. And the throw from Duran into the infield goes over the head of the third baseman, and that allows Maben to get to third and Poteet to get to second, because Poteet was stopped in the track over to second, waiting for the throw, and after he saw the throw got away, he ended up making his way to second. And now that'll give Sam Olson a shot with 2 runners in scoring position.
Oh, yeah.
And so now Sam Olson ahead of the count, 1 ball, no strikes.
I get it.
That one puts him safely ahead a little bit, 2 balls, and now they will be making a meeting on the mound. Now the whole infield will be coming in. And this mound visit comes after the Hawks are able to put 2 runners in scoring position. I believe that was recorded in E7 that got DJ Poteet to second. He originally was scored a single, but then the error by the left fielder Haran got Poteet to second, and as well Maben to third.
Yeah, it was in fact an error on the throw, and on that play, the throw was offline going to third. Not sure why the shortstop let it go. Once he did, that was the shortstop Jinder. Once he did, the third baseman Jepson couldn't get it. Poteet had stopped between first and second. Not sure if he was going to continue on or not. And then he did when he saw the ball get away.
That one swung on the 3-0 pitch into straightaway center, and Washington under it. And now Maben will make his way and cross home plate, and Poteet will advance to third, so that would be a sacrifice fly for Olson. And that will bring up Sean Skelly. He's 1 for 2, including the home run that he hit in his first plate appearance. And he has a shot with a runner on third, just 90 feet away.
This feels like a big run, too, because if you get this one home, you've got the lead down to 3.
First delivery to Skelly called strike 1. That one swung on, but foul, so that puts Skelly behind the count, 0-2. Skelly, you'll have to put something in play or a defensive miscue to get that run home, because there's already 2 outs. That one gets away from Hancock. He's able to block it. And that one's called ball 1. One-two count for Skelly. Delivery. Sliced foul yet again. Still 1-2 count. That one swung through, and Skilly will go down on strike, so they'll leave a man, and will now head into the top of the sixth, 7-3 ball game in favor of the Voyagers.
Ina is all about keeping good energy in the room. From her happy cats to being good energy smart, like replacing all her bulbs with LEDs.
Wave birds.
More good energy tips at idahopower.com/save.
Some health plans serve members with these. There's one health plan that serves members with these.
Pacific Source, this is Jay.
Pacific Source Health Plans, going beyond what's required to put members first.
Hi, it's me, Bob the Money Tree Caterpillar. You know what bugs me? Other installment loans apply most of your early payments to interest, and it takes forever to make a dent in the principal. Don't wait to pay down principal. With a Money Tree installment loan, you'll start paying principal from the start. It's a more principled loan. Visit a nearby Money Tree branch or go to MoneyTreeInc.com to learn about the Money Tree installment loan today. That's MoneyTreeInc.com.
No one wants to deal with water, fire, or mold damage. Pursuit Restoration is Idaho's premier master water and fire restorer company. We are a 24/7 emergency service provider. Our technicians can be dispatched within 45 minutes from the first call. We are a full-service contractor who can provide the cleanup process and full rebuilds to make your property look like new. Many times, we can even find options to update and upgrade if needed. Your home is your happiness. Let Pursuit Restoration help restore it.
Welcome back to the top of the sixth of the Flow Sports Game of the Week. Luke Malone is back out there for the Papas Fritas. And I mentioned this before, the Hawks on the defensive side would love to pitch a shutout for the rest of the game to at least give their offense a chance. And so far they've done that. They haven't allowed a run in the previous 2 innings, but they've also scored 2 runs as well in the previous 2 innings. And the first pitch delivery to the leadoff man, Charlie Hess, is called ball 1. That one, strike 1. Down the off-speed pitch, 78 miles per hour. Swung through strike 2. That one caught Hess a little bit off balance on the swing. Something he shouldn't have been swinging at. It was in the dirt. Malone goes back with the same pitch, but Hess doesn't swing at that one. Now that'll make the count 2-2. That one swung on, but foul. I'll still make it a 2-2 count. That one grounded over to Kaler, and Kaler able to flick it over to Beza for the first out. Now, after that ground out from Hess, I'll bring up Washington. And Washington, so far in the game, has had back-to-back RBI singles. The first one was a questionable call that we didn't agree with, where we thought that Skilly had the play at home, but the home plate umpire said that he got there safely as Washington swings through the first pitch he sees, strike 1. We talked about that. That was a pretty pivotal point in the game, because if he would have got that call, then the next out would have got them out of the inning, and that one popped up, and Poteet under it to make the catch for the second out. As I was mentioning, if you get that play in your favor, then that would have been the second out, and then Bezos able to get the force out at second the next play, so that would have gotten them out of the inning, not allowing a run, and so at that point, it would have been a much more manageable game. Instead, it would have been 2-0 heading into the bottom of the second instead of 4-0.
Yeah, maybe changes Braden Spears' outing. Maybe he continues in the ball game. You don't have to go to McBride in the third inning of a 2-0 game. The domino effect, you don't know where it would have gone, but I agree with you. You could at least say that 2 runs wouldn't have been on Great Falls' side. So all things being equal, it's a 5-3 game at this point instead of 7-3.
And the first pitch delivery to Jepson is called a strike. The next one, a ball. 1-1 count for Jepson. And Jepson, so far, he had a single in the first. He hit into a fielder's choice in the second and struck out in the third. Now Jepson getting ahead of the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. That one swung through. Strike 2. So far, Malone has stepped in and he's done a very solid job, in my opinion. He's not allowed a run in the 4th and the 5th, and now getting a even count. That one makes the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Yeah, we were talking about we needed somebody to come in and start putting up zeros, and Malone has been that guy today.
That one low and inside for ball 4. That'll get Jepson aboard with the free pass. And going off of that, where it's kind of like you need a performance that kind of elevates the team. That was something we saw in Game 3 with Alex Smith, where he had a very phenomenal outing. He went the whole stretch. He went the complete game, and he ended up getting the win. And that was the only win for the Hawks of the series. And we are hoping that the Hawks would have been able to go in the next game on Friday and be able to get the win. And they were close to doing that, but then in the final inning, they allowed the 2 runs that tied the game up and lost in knockout round.
Yeah, the Alex Smith performance and then the Gavin Garrell performance in relief in Game 4. And now Malone today, based on what we've seen so far, those have been the guys that have done the best job for the Hawks, but it's just been not enough. Not enough quality pitching in this series so far. Hawks still have a chance here. I mean, you look at this game, they were down 6 with 7 chances left. Now they're down 4, and they still have 4 opportunities left, and they haven't put up a crooked number in an inning, and they're certainly capable of that. So plenty of baseball yet to play this afternoon at Memorial.
That one's sliced foul, so that will be first strike to Giacomo, 2-1 count.
The Hawks went down in order in the first inning, and then they have scored in 3 of the 4 innings since, plus they threatened in the third.
The runner from first goes, and the throw not in time as he checks in safely with the stolen base.
And I'm not quite sure why the Voyagers haven't run more today. Not a knock on Sean Skelly, but when you've got a guy who's catching for the first time in nearly a month, why not test his arm?
A 3-1 delivery to DiGiacomo. That one, another walk. That's back-to-back walks given out from Malone. Now that'll bring up Williams.
DiGiacomo's now walked 4 times today. And Miguel Von Kampen's going to go out and have a conversation. Couple of relievers up in the pen. I believe that's Nate Alexander, the right-hander.
Williams so far, who is due up. He singled in the first. He lined over to the shortstop in the second. Grounded you into a double play in the fourth, and he was the first batter that Malone faced.
It's Blake McFadden, the left-hander, to go along with Alexander, the right-hander, down in the bullpen. Kelvin Compton waiting till the home plate umpire comes out there. They're having a discussion now with Malone, and now they may be looking to the dugout for the training staff. Kelvin Compton is motioning to the dugout for something. Not sure what he's looking for. Is it a fresh rosin bag, maybe? No, that's what it is.
You mentioned Blake McFadden warming up. He pitched the final at bat of the game yesterday. Came in relief for Kowalski to get the final out. Now Williams up. Malone grabs the fresh rosin.
He actually did that rosin 3 times after they brought it out, so he was clearly having some issues with his grip.
That one gets away from Skelly, and they try to make the throw out third. Not in time. It just got a little bit away from Skelly, and they tried to make the throw to third as both runners advanced.
Well, now Malone goes to the dirt and then the rosin. And it's a rule that doesn't get enforced very often. He went straight from the rosin to the ball. You're supposed to wipe off. But hitters will tell you they want pitchers to have grip. They want the pitcher to know where it's going.
That one hit over to Maben at short. He goes over to Beza, who gets the final out, and now we'll head into the home half of the 6th, 7-3 ball game. Now the home half of the 6th inning, Tyler Jorgensen will be leading things off. This is Jorgensen's 3rd plate appearance. He grounded out into a fielder's choice, and that one goes down as a base hit as he chases the first pitch he sees. Now the leadoff man is aboard once again.
Now you're in the point of the ball game, though, that you could think about putting the running game back in play. Down 7-1, no. But 7-3 with Jorgensen, the runner at first, who has 5 stolen bases in this series, it would not shock me to see him run here.
Especially because he's been so successful so far, which might go against Jorgensen because they might be looking for it. as Walters swings through the first delivery, strike one. Also tougher because it's a left-handed pitcher, so he's facing first base. That one popped foul, putting Walters behind 0-2. Nothing in 2 delivery. Swung on, and that one does not stay fair. It takes one bounce and into the glove of a pitcher in the visiting bullpen. Looks like he starts using that ball to warm up. As he decides, I guess that ball's much more comfortable for him to warm up, he throws away the one he had already. Starts using that one. I don't know why. 0-2. Called ball 1. One-two pitch. That one swung on, and that'll be a base hit as it goes through the gap on the left side of the infield, and that will advance Jorgensen to second. So back-to-back singles brings up Alex Beza, who's been red hot this series. He had a RBI double in his previous plate appearance, and as we mentioned, in the previous 3 games, he's had 3 straight homers. The last 2 being solo shots, but the first one being a 3-run homer.
It's a right-hander up in the pen, but you would think they're going to leave Nauman in for both Beza and Oyama in the lefty-lefty matchups. And then you could think about going to the right-hander because Kaler being a switch hitter, it doesn't really matter. And then Maben after that is a right-hander.
That one hit into the gap on the right side, and that'll bring home Jorgensen. The throw to third is not in time, as now Walters is in at third. Jorgensen reaches home, and that is an RBI single from Beza. Runners on the corners.
Now Beza picks up his 9th run batted in the series, his 2nd today, and his team leading 49th of the season. Walters with some aggressive base running gets over to third. That was probably a little too close for comfort for Gary Van Tol and the Hawks, but Walters beat it with a slide, and now the tying run is at the plate with nobody out.
Oyama shows bunt, but he pulls away, ball 1, and that's the 3rd straight single in this inning. Let's see if Oyama is able to extend the streak. That one over the head of the second baseman, and that will drive home a run. And now it's quickly a 7-5 ball game as they've finally gotten more than 1 run driven in an inning. This one, too. And now that'll bring Cole Kaler.
Well, the lefty-lefty matchups didn't work, so let's see if they go to the pen here. And here comes Tommy Thompson. I was thinking that's all he was going to get was Beza and Oyama regardless. And now you've got to go get the right-hander because he didn't get the left-handers out. And not only that, but Nauman, who's pitched into the 6th inning today, if you take him out here, he cannot lose it. He can only win it or get a no decision. Responsible for the tying runs on base. He's not made the call yet, though. It's a long conversation.
Might just be stalling time to get a little bit more warm-up.
He's going to stick with him.
That's an interesting decision because, I mean, he's allowed 4 straight singles in this inning, and that's where the Hawks have been the most aggressive and most productive, is when they've been able to string their hits together and create runs that way. And now they have a runner in scoring position, that's Alex Beza at second, and Kenny Oyama, who has burner wheels at first.
Now the sacrifice is back in play. You could elect to bunt the runners in both in a scoring position with 1 out, down 2 here at home in the 6th. They bluff second, and then Kaler has a little fun as he squared around for show. Obviously, you're stepping off there to see if Kaler's going to give it away, and then Kaler just went ahead and looked like he was fooling around up there.
Holds off on the first delivery, ball one. That one, off-speed pitch, 80 miles per hour.
I don't know how you stick with Nauman in this situation. Clearly, he is wearing down. The Hawks, 4 straight hits. To me, he just had to go to the right-hander here.
That one, strike one, and that kind of goes into the game plan for Kaler heading into this at-bat where, I mean, normally you might want to square around a bunt, but if you're facing a pitcher that's running out of juice, you might as well try to go for a base hit that would bring home a run. He does swing on, and it popped up into the shallow right. Right fielder makes the throw, but it's too shallow to advance Beza. And that's the first out.
Well, Nauman has retired Kaler all 4 times today. And now, so that was the conversation. He was going to give him one more hitter to go after a guy that he'd been retired all 3 times, and now he's going to make the call to the pen. So Nauman's going to wind up going 5 1/3 today. And again, he leaves with the lead and a chance to pick up a victory.
That'll be number 24 stepping up onto the mound. That is Montana Quigley. Montana Quigley, this is his 18th appearance, tied for the most on the team with Ethan Swanson. Quigley, he's had 5 decisions. He's 1 for 4. He also has 1 save. He's pitched 22 innings, and he has an ERA of 9.41. Let's see what Quigley is able to do, because we mentioned that the Boise Hawks had 4 straight singles to start off the inning, and that allowed them to strike into the deficit. But then a pop-up from Kaler ends that streak, so that's the first out, and now it'll be Derek Mabin up. And Mabin, he reached base twice. The first time was in the 3rd with the error to the second baseman, Charlie Hess, and then he reached yet again in the 5th with a walk.
Paint's Cascadia Color Expedition team is heading into the great outdoors to bring the
Quigley's looking
magnificent
to do what
beauty of the
Malone
Pacific
did for the
Northwest
Hawks
into
back
our
in the
homes.
4th when he came in the
Rada's
ballgame,
color
asking to double play
experts
ground
pick
ball
and
to get out
pair
of the
their
inning.
discoveries into
Meanwhile,
new nature-inspired
Derek Mabin's
palettes,
still looking
creating
for
a
his
new
first
line
hit
of
of the
timeless
game. He did reach
colors
on an
that
error
represent where we live,
back in the
making it
3rd.
easy for
He's
you to
also been
choose
hit
the
by a
perfect
pitch.
colors to enhance your home's
With this
interior
rally
and
here in
exterior.
the 6th,
It's the
Hawks
Cascadia line
even
of designer
hit
colors, available
at
exclusively
9,
at
but they
Rada.
still trail 7-5. Great Falls has committed the only errors in the ball game, and they've had 3.
Now Mabin will be stepping up into the box. Now Mabin looking to do some damage with a runner in scoring position. That is Alex Beza. And the Hawks right now have the game-tying run at first, and that is Oyama, who, as I mentioned before, has burner wheels. That one chases after the first pitch he sees, but fouls it away.
I would expect that the Hawks would go to the pen again in the 7th. Malone has already gone 3 innings, and now this is a long layoff with the Hawks rallying, and now the pitching change as well. And there was also another trip to the mound before that.
That one, soft hit, and it goes down as an out, but it advances Beza to 3rd and Oyama to 2nd. So both runners are in scoring position, and now the game-tying run is there in scoring position at 2nd, and that's Oyama, with DJ Poteet up to bat.
And Poteet had a base hit his last time up. 7 hits in the series. been one of the more reliable hitters all year. He's got 45 runs driven in. Second on the team to Alex Beza.
Holds off on the first pitch. Called ball 1. Now Poteet given a chance to show his clutch hitting with a base hit. Could tie this one up. A signal to start the pitch clock yet again. Still hasn't started. Now it has. Poteet holds off yet again. Ball 2.
This is where some of the Hawks hitters have struggled in these dominant hitter counts, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. Too many guys going after pitches that are not the perfect hitter's pitch. DJ's a guy that will lay off pitches unless it's exactly the one he's looking for in this type of situation.
Swings through the third delivery, so 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's a good breaking ball right there by Quigley.
I mean, at this point in the game, with the potential game-tying run at second, I wouldn't think of anyone else better to have up at the plate than Poteet. Maybe Beza, but Beza's at third. Chops that one up, strike 2. Now Poteet getting ready for the 2-2 count. Quigley shows that he likes that one, and it gets away from the catcher Hancock, so that makes the count full for Poteet.
And now if you're Quigley, you still can make a quality pitch here because first base is open. Yes, they would put the go-ahead run aboard, but you don't have to give in to a dangerous hitter just because he represents the go-ahead run. You can still make your pitch here on a 3-2. Maybe try to get him to chase something.
That one grounded over to the second baseman. Has a little bit of trouble to field it, but he ends up recovering and makes the throw to first. And the Hawks will leave 2 runners in scoring position as we now head into the top of the 7th at Memorial Stadium. 5-7 ball game in favor of the Voyagers.
Rada Paint's Cascadia Color Expedition team is heading into the great outdoors to bring the magnificent beauty of the Pacific Northwest into our homes. Rada's color experts pick and pair their discoveries into new nature-inspired palettes, creating a new line of timeless colors that represent where we live and making it easy for you to choose the perfect colors to enhance your home's interior and exterior.
It's the Cascadia line of designer colors available exclusively at Rada Paint.
Welcome back to the top of the 7th, and there's a pitching change, but I will pass it off to Craig Lawson for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Adam. It's a 7-5 ball game now. The Voyagers 7 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors. Hawks 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And it's the Mr. Mud call to the bullpen, Ian Oxnavad, the newest pitcher for the Hawks. He is slated to take Matt Sox's spot in the rotation in Ogden On Wednesday, Sox had been moved to the injured list. And Gary said before the ball game he wanted to get Ian an inning in relief today if a situation presented itself before he gets that start down in Ogden. Left-handed pitcher getting set to face 5, 6, 7 in the Great Falls lineup. The Hawks at one time trailed this game 7-1, but in the middle innings, they have stormed back. They get 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and it's now a 7-5 game. They actually had the tying runs aboard in the 6th. And Oxnard's first pitch to Koipel is up high, 95 on the gun. 1 ball and no strikes. Koipel today has an RBI ground out and a couple of strikeouts. Ground ball, right side, 1 hop to Kaler. Plenty of time to set his feet. Throws out Koipel and 1 up, 1 down. So that brings up Anthony Herron Jr. He has a couple of hits and a run scored in 3 trips. Pitch is up high for a ball. That pitch misses, and it's now 2 balls and no strikes. Oxnard is out of Shorewood High School in Shoreline, Washington. Back in 2015, he was 11-0 as a senior in high school with a 0.53 ERA. Originally committed to play at Oregon State, but he was selected by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 8th round of the draft that year and signed for $500,000. Gave up his commitment to OSU. This one's grounded back off Oxnard. Kaler then has an opportunity to throw to first, not in time, and it'll go as a base hit as Oxnard changed the direction of that ball, made a little bit of a tougher play for Kaler out there. And with it, it's an infield hit.
Although he wasn't able to make the play, it was a great effort by Kaler to try to make it competitive there as he had a little bit of a difficulty bobbling at first and made the throws on target, but just a little bit off.
Throw to first. They got it picked off, and the ball gets away from Boise, and it gets down into the bullpen. So Herron Jr. is going to make it all the way to third, and they're going to charge Boise with the error as that throw was right on the money, and they had him picked off. It looked to me like Boise just thought it was too easy of a play and tried to make the tag before he caught it.
Well, that's just tough because the Hawks have not allowed a run for the previous 3 innings, and it really has given their offense a chance to get back in the game, but now the run is just 90 feet away.
There's a ground ball past the drawn-in infield into center field, a base hit. So the error cost the Hawks dearly as Jinder picks up an RBI single. And now it is back to a 3-run lead at 8-5. So Jinder picks up his first RBI of the day. And here's Billy Hancock. For now, the run is unearned. Pitch down low to finish the background on Oxnard. So drafted in 2015 by the Cardinals. He advanced as high as Advanced A in the Florida State League in 2018. But he had surgery on his elbow in 2019 and missed the entire season. And then with COVID in 2020, it was a second straight year that he missed. Everybody in the minors at that point. And then another injury cost him 2021. And he's been out of baseball, so this is his first time pitching since 2018 in terms of competitive baseball.
Must feel really nice for Oxnard to get back on the mound after that long hiatus and being able to compete it once more.
He was signed just 3 days ago. Gets the fastball in for a strike to Hancock, and it's 3-1. So you can see why Gary was trying to get him an inning here just to get some of the butterflies out, get him back up on a mound before he just hands him the ball in a start down in Ogden against a team that has become one of the primary rivals of the Hawks. And here's a walk to Hancock. And now it's 2-1 out. So 2-1 out, a run already in. So you got the ground ball out off the bat of Koipel to open the inning. Then Haran Jr. hit a ball that was deflected by Oxnard. Changed direction. Probably was going to go into center field if he doesn't deflect it. But once he did, Kaler then was handcuffed a little bit out at second base when he thought he had a chance. Went as an infield hit. They had the runner picked off, but Beza dropped the pickoff throw from Oxnard. That allowed Haran Jr. to get all the way to third. And then since then, an RBI single by Jinder and a walk to Hancock. And now Charlie Hess ahead in the count, a ball and no strikes. So 8-5 the score. Top half of inning number 7. And Adam, it's just disheartening after you do so much to get back within 2 to have an error lead to another run. Which is in for a strike.
It is really tough and really disheartening, but it still gives, it's just one run at this point. There's still only 2 outs looming in this inning, but it's still a chance for the Hawks to be able to get back into the game. And so far they've gotten a run in each of the previous 3 innings. The last one was the most with 2, but before that it was just 1-1-2. And so now they still have a shot in this game. It's just a little bit, tougher with that one run.
Oxnard behind in the count, 2 balls and a strike to Hess. The Hawks scored twice in the 6th to cut it to 7-5 and had runners at second and third. Actually had first and second. At first and third with nobody out in that inning, or first and second with nobody out. There was a fly ball that didn't advance the runner, then a check swing grounder that moved the runners up, and then Poteet grounded out to second. So even though they scored twice in the inning, they left something on the little meat on the bone, if you will, as they still had 2 on, nobody out, and didn't get any more. Now they give up a run here, and Hess, the batter, has a 3-1 pitch coming from Oxnard. That's in for a strike. And the count goes full. Let's see if they put the game in motion here. You've got a right-handed batter, so it's a tougher throw around him for Skelly, even if he strikes out. They look like they're going, and they are. And the pitch is taken for, I guess, ball 4. Pitch was right down the middle. And I think Skelly's beside himself. That pitch caught a whole lot of plate.
You couldn't throw more of a strike than that one. And that's just a missed call. And we've seen, as I mentioned, it's a really tough job behind the plate because you're looking at a pitch, that one 94 miles per hour. But that one is just a routine call. It's through the heart of the plate. And you can't, if you're Oxnard, you can't do anything more than that. It's straight through the heart of the plate. Can't miss that play.
Should have been the second out. And then Skelly elected to go to second to try to throw out the trail runner Hancock, who's not as speedy. Interestingly enough, though, I thought Hancock had a better jump at first. And who knows if they would have been able to get him. Kaler recognized that it was called ball 4, so he didn't even attempt to put a tag down. But again, that's just a pitch that was right there. So now the bases are loaded. And going from the windup is Oxnard. The runner at third, Jinder, was bluffing his way down, and so Oxnard stepped off. This was hit into foul territory. Jorgensen's going to make the catch. They're going to tag and try to score. Here comes the throw to the plate. Not in time. Skelly comes out to get it, then fires to second. But everybody's safe as Hess gets in there, so it's a sacrifice on the foul out. Washington has his third RBI of the day, and it's now 9-5. Jorgensen had a choice to make. Did he want to let that ball drop in foul territory or make the play and try to get the out? I don't think you can really let the ball drop there, given that you're already down 3. You don't want to give Washington a chance with the bases loaded. That guy's dangerous.
Yeah,
I thought it was the right play.
I definitely agree.
So now it's second and third, 2 outs for Jepsen. And he lays off a pitch upstairs, and they count a ball and a strike. They ask for help on the swing. There's nothing would surprise me at this point, but it was called correctly. It was a ball.
We saw that in yesterday's game where we talked about this throughout the homes, like every home game so far. They've been pretty lenient on the upper third of the strike zone.
That one's hit hard to center field, but anyway, Ama's there. He makes the catch, and the side's retired. But a couple of runs, and the Voyagers lead at 9-5 as we head to the stretch. Home half of inning number 7. 4, 5, 6 due up for the Hawks. They once again find themselves behind by 4. Playing from behind all day today. The Hawks fell behind 4-0 after an inning and a half. Sean Skelly got the Hawks on the board with a solo shot in the second. But a 3-run third increased the lead to 7-1 for the Voyagers. Then the Hawks started chipping away, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and they left the tying runs aboard. The Great Falls responded with a 2-run 7th inning and now leads at 9-5. 9 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Voyagers. 5 runs, 9 hits, and now 1 error for the Hawks. That was a throwing error, actually a fielding error, last half inning. You talk about game-changing plays, Adam. You had the play at the plate that not only scored a run on that play back in the second, but for all intents and purposes could have saved 2 runs. His pitch is fouled back. And now last inning, they've got Haran Jr. picked off, and Boise just missed it, just dropped it, or had to go through his mitt or whatever you want to say. If they get the pick off there, all things being equal, that's another run Another 2 runs off the board. This game could be 5-5.
And going even further in the 7th as well in the previous inning, there was what should have been a strike. It caught as much play as you could. It was straight through the heart of the plate in the middle of the strike zone, but they call it ball 4, allows a walk, and it keeps the inning going, which is a tough call.
Ground ball left side, through for a base hit. So here's a start as Olsen picks up a knock. 2-hit day for Sam.
I talked about this with Sam, and so far he hasn't shown that he's going to burn you with extra base hits, but he's been very reliable in getting on base. He's had a ton of singles. He has quite a few singles, but just a really great hit to keep the Hawks alive, and it's still a 4-run game, and we've already talked about this. They've had at least 1 run in each of the previous 3 innings. Hopefully they're able to get 2 at least.
Skelly takes down low for a ball. Sean today has homered, fly to center, and struck out. Hawks left runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 5th and the 6th. And they trail it by 4 here in the 7th. Looked like maybe Sean's chain broke right there.
Yeah, he called time and picked something up and put it in his pocket.
Skelly grounds it foul down the third base line as he had a bid for extra bases. Still got to get a couple of more runners aboard before the tying run would get back up to the plate. Again, the Hawks had the go-ahead run at the plate in the 6th. DJ Poteet, actually Derek Mabin, they all did. Kaler made an out, then Mabin, then Poteet. All representing the go-ahead run. Skelly fouls that one back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. It was 4 straight singles to open the 6th off the starter Tyler Nauman. After a visit to the mound from his manager Tommy Thompson, he retired Cole Kaler on a fly ball. 4th time today he'd gotten Kaler out. Then the call went to the bullpen for Montana Quigley, and Quigley retired Derek Mabin and DJ Poteet on groundouts to end the inning. And then here, Olsen gets a base hit to start the 7th. Time was called there, and Quigley was trying to figure out what had happened. It was Billy Hancock who asked for time, so that counts as the first defensive disengagement / timeout in this at bat to Skelly. Olsen does not have a very big lead at first, and a breaking ball got him looking. Skelly didn't like it, but that pitch caught the inside corner, and Sean is down on strikes for the 2nd time today. Really good pitch right there from Quigley. A little front door breaking ball. Came back and caught some of the inside corner. Tyler Jorgensen, the batter. Jorgie's 1 out of 3 today. He scored a couple of times. Ground ball to the right side. They think about going to 2nd, but then the throw goes to 1st. It wasn't hit that hard. And Olsen moves into scoring position with 2 outs. Jorgie retired, and now Anthony Walters, the batter. Walters has fouled out, reached on catcher's interference, singled, and scored. So officially, he's 1 out of 2 in the ballgame. Soft line drive, glove by the 2nd baseman, Charlie Hess, and the inning is over. So the Hawks leave another runner in scoring position, and after 7, it's 9-5 Great Falls.
In the sunshine, everybody loves the sun. sunshine.
Mike. He's all about keeping good energy in the room. From his wood-burning hobby to practicing good energy smart habits, like sealing around doors and windows to save energy.
Why burn money?
More good energy tips at idahopower.com/save.
Top half of inning number 8. It's the Flow Sports Game of the Week. Boise Hawks Baseball brought to you by Flow Sports. Craig Lawson and Adam Bridges alongside you. So Mr. Mudd called to the bullpen. Nate Alexander enters. Last we saw him, it was in the 9th inning Friday night. He first came back off of a little bit of an injury bug and did not go well as he blew the save, gave up 2 runs in a game that the Voyagers eventually won in the second round of knockout. And here he's facing Giovanni DiGiacomo. And DiGiacomo has walked 4 times today. Braden Spears started and went the first 2. Pitch misses. McBride came on and went an inning plus, and then Luke Malone pitched 3 innings. And then Ian Oxnavad, who we will see as a starter for the first time in a Hawks uniform come Wednesday night in Ogden, pitched the 7th, and now here's Alexander in the 8th. We've been talking about missed opportunities, Adam, and we'll elaborate a little bit more after this pitch. 3-0 offering from Alexander is in for a strike, but the Hawks left runners at the corners in the 3rd, 2nd and 3rd in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and a runner at second base in the 7th. So that is 9 runners left on, 8 of them in scoring position. There's a ground ball to the right side, bobbled by Kaler, recovers in time, and throws out DiGiacomo, and there's 1 gone.
Yeah, and it's just really tough because they've been able to get their team back into this game. It's just, in those moments when they have the opportunity to do that, they had Oyama earlier in the game, just recently, who was the game-tying run at second, so is in scoring position. They got really close, but they just weren't able to drive him in and tie the game up. And now it's 9-5.
Swung on and missed. Yeah, and I think what hurts is that even though they had scored in those innings, leaving just more out there, knowing you could have gotten even closer, trying to take advantage of every opportunity in a game that you once trailed 7-1. That's a breaking ball that is called upstairs, and it's 1-1.
In the favor of the Hawks, in yesterday's game, they weren't doing well with any runners aboard. They ended up getting their first hit with the runner in scoring position just in the 9th inning.
Ground ball back up the middle. That's a base hit. So Williams is aboard. Second hit in 5 trips for him. It's the 12th hit of the game. And now we've seen this move before. It'll be Brady Held, number 26, one of the pitchers that will run at first base for Williams.
Alexander, in his appearance earlier on Friday, he had a ton of velocity. Just didn't seem like he had much control. Today, it seems like he has more control and lowered his velocity a little bit.
There's Christian Koipel, and now time is called. Koipel is nothing out of 4 today. He has bounced out twice to the right side and sandwiched those around a couple of strikeouts. Misses there, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Throw over to first and back with a dive as the pinch runner held.
That was an absolute laser by Alexander to first.
Koipel with his 0 for 4 performance today, now 1 for 14 in this series. And that one's chopped foul, and the count 2 balls and a strike. That one's hit high in the air to left field. Petit all over it. And that'll be the second out. And Koipel's now nothing out of 5 today. The Hawks have handled the number 5 hitter with ease. They have not taken care of this guy, though. Anthony Herron Jr. has a 3-hit day going. And he's been part of 2 rallies where he has come around to score. Checked his swing. They asked for help, say he went around. So for Great Falls, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 in the 7th. Hawks had single runs in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th, and then they put up 2 in the 6th. Runner goes, pitches in for a strike, throw down to second. He came off the bag, and Kaler kept the tag on him, and he's out. So nice job by Cole Kaler as held overslid the bag. And with that, it's a caught stealing 2-4. And I believe we're going to have a new pitcher when we come back, but we'll take the break. 9-5 Voyagers. So as speculated, there is a Mr. Mudd call to the bullpen. Shane Gustafson, the right-hander, is on for the Voyagers. To tell you a little bit about his numbers, here's Adam.
Thank you, Craig. And Shane Gustafson, he's had 12 appearances. This will be his 13th. He's started 7 games, so he originally was a starting pitcher. He's had 4 decisions, 1 of 3.
Pitch is popped up by Beza. Shortstop, second baseman, both coming over. And it's the shortstop, Jinder, who takes charge and retires Beza for the first out. And here's Kenny Oyama.
And Gustafson, he's pitched the second most innings for the Voyagers. He has 37 2/3 innings pitched. He has an ERA of 8.12.
Pitch is up high. So it's getting late. Hawks down 4. They bat here in the home half of inning number 8. Need some base runners. That pitch is inside for a ball, 2-0. So we were told there were 6 arms available. That pitch in for a strike out of the bullpen today, and we've seen 4 of them. McBride, Malone, Oxnard, and now Alexander. There's a line drive into left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Haran Jr. had him played shallow, but Oyama dumps it in front of him. Kenny's got a 3rd hit today. We go back to the top of the order for Cole Kaler. One of the other arms available, we were told, is Drew Marufo, and he is warming up, and it looks like he will have the 9th. Here's Cole Kaler. Happy to see anybody out there other than a guy named Tyler Nauman. Kaler was batting from the right side against the starter for the Voyagers, and he went 0 for 4. Now he turns around from the left side and drives one into center field. Washington has a measured up, and Zane puts it away, and there's 2 gone. And that brings up Derek Mabin. Hawks, after this one, will head to Ogden for a 6-game set with the Raptors beginning Tuesday night. I believe I might have said Oxnard would start Tuesday. He'll start Wednesday in game 2 of that series. Pitch is low. Still Matt Volker on the mound Tuesday night. No other changes to the rotation as of now. Outside for a ball. Count 2-0.
That was a strange-looking pitch because it kind of looked like he was about to step off the mound completely before he delivered it.
That pitch misses. Other scores today in the Pioneer League. First place Grand Junction leading Idaho Falls 11-3, top of the 5th in Idaho Falls. Ogden trails Missoula 1-0, bottom of the 5th in Missoula. Pitches in for a strike. And then in the battle of Colorado teams in the division, it's top of the 9th. Rocky Mountain at home leads Northern Colorado 7-5. And in the battle of Northern Division teams, the pitch is lined back to the pitcher who makes the catch, and the inning is over. Glacier wrap up a scoreboard, leads Billings 13-8, top of the 8th in Billings. Side retired after 8, 9-5.
Tina is all about keeping good energy in the room. From her happy cats to being good energy smart, like replacing all her bulbs with LEDs.
Wave birds.
More good energy tips at idahopower.com/save.
Some health plans serve members with these. There's one health plan that serves members with these.
Pacific Source, this is Jay.
Pacific Source Health Plans, going beyond what's required to put members first.
Hi, it's me, Bob the Money Tree Caterpillar. You know what bugs me? Other installment loans apply most of your early payments to interest, and it takes forever to make a dent in the principal. Don't wait to pay down principal. With a Money Tree installment loan, you'll start paying principal from the start. It's a more principled loan. Visit a nearby Money Tree branch or go to MoneyTreeInc.com to learn about the Money Tree installment loan today. That's MoneyTreeInc.com.
No one wants to deal with water, fire, or mold damage. Pursuit Restoration is Idaho's premier master water and fire restorer company. We are a 24/7 emergency service provider. Our technicians can be dispatched within 45 minutes from the first call. We are a full-service contractor who can provide the cleanup process and full rebuilds to make your property look like new. Many times, we can even find options to update and upgrade if needed. Your home is your happiness. Let Pursuit Restoration help restore it.
Top half of inning number 9, another Mr. Mud call to the bullpen as it's Drew Marufo on. So again, a guy who had moved into the closer's role when Casey Dykstra was on the IL and Nate Alexander was banged up. Now goes back out there. This, of course, a non-save situation in the 9th as the Hawks trail at 9-5. And Adam, what do you got for stats on Drew?
So for Drew Marufo on the year, he had 19 appearances, now 20th appearance. That is second most on the team. He has no decisions. He has 2 saves to his name. He's pitched 28 1/3 innings, and he has an ERA of 6.99.
Well, Haran Jr. is back up there. He was at the plate when the caught stealing occurred, and he hits this one down the left field line. It stays fair. And Haran Jr. will get into second standing up, and the ball hopped up, and I'm not sure if it hit Haran Jr. or Kaler just got a glove on it, but either way, it's a leadoff double for Haran Jr.
It kind of looked like it bounced into Kaler's glove, but the kickback from the throw hit the backhand of the glove on Haran Jr., which made Kaler drop it. And right there, it seemed like, Anthony Walters got right away from him, but that was all he could do. I mean, it was just right all he could, but it just went right outside of his glove.
It's a 4-hit day for Haran Jr., first extra base hit for the Voyagers left fielder. And here's Langston Jinder. Now Marufo wants time, and he wants to make sure that they have the right signs with a runner out at second base. There's more activity in the Hawks' pen, and the left-hander
Did say there was 9 arms available, or not 9, 6, excuse me.
Yeah, but that's not Dykstra, so I'm not sure. Can't catch a number on the left-hander yet. Meanwhile, the Hawks use up their 5th mound visit of the game.
Might be Blake McFadden.
I think you're right. Pitch is swung out and missed. So now no balls and 2 strikes to Langston Jinder, the shortstop.
Drew Marufo, he joined the team as the first overall pick in the Pioneer Baseball League draft. They're doing tryouts for the midseason on the 28th now, so that could potentially give the Hawks an opportunity to pick up new players if they choose.
That one just missed, and it's now a ball and 2 strikes. I mentioned after this one, still 42 games left in the second half, but only 15 of those are going to be at home. So if the Hawks are going to keep themselves in the second half and subsequently the overall race in the South Division, they're going to have to win some games away from home.
When we talked about this before, they're also facing the top 4 teams in regards to finishing in the first half. And that's even tougher because not only do you have to play those higher tier teams, you also have to play them on the road, which makes it even more difficult.
Now they'll face Ogden for 6 on the road coming up. Of course, Ogden won the first half in the South. Check swing, they asked for help. He absolutely went around. And Ginger's down on strikes. So there's the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Billy Hancock. After the trip to Ogden, it's a 6-game split series with Idaho Falls. 3 on the road and then 3 back here at Memorial Stadium. Then a 6-game split series with Glacier, who was the runner-up in the first half in the North. That'll be an interesting series because they'll go from here up to Glacier without an off day. And then they'll have a travel day back on Thursday for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday 3-game set here at Memorial. The pitch is in for a strike. After that 6-game split series with Glacier, then it's a 6-game road trip to Missoula. So again, 18 of the next 24 games against teams that were in the top 2 in their division in the first half. Of course, the Hawks were the second-place team in the South. This pitch is a fly ball to Oyama. Makes the catch. Strong throw to third, but Aron Jr. gets in. And so with 2 outs, there's now a runner over at third base. And Charlie Hess is the batter. Rufo trying to get this third out and keep it at a 4-run deficit as we go to the home half of the 9th. Hess today has popped up a bunt, doubled and scored, grounded out and walked. 1 for 3. Pops this one foul and out of play. That's a called strike. No balls and 2 strikes now to Hess. Hess playing second base today. Two-strike offering. Got him looking, and the inning is over. So no runs, a hit, no errors, a man left. The Hawks will need 4 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 9-5 Voyagers. Home half of inning number 9. It's another Mr. Mud call to the bullpen is Andrew Garcia, who is the closer for the Voyagers. This is a non-save situation, but Garcia comes on here in the 9th with a 4-run lead.
This is his 15th appearance on the year. He's started 5 games. He's had 5 decisions. Those are, it's 3 wins, 2 losses. He has 2 saves.
First pitch to DJ Poteet is lined into center field. Washington froze for a second and then took off and ran it down for out number 1.
And it's interesting because now the Voyagers have had the top 3 pitchers who've seen the most amount of innings, as Tyler Nauman has the first most, following Gustafson, who had 37 and a third, and then now Garcia, who's had 35 as well. He's had an ERA of 8.23 heading into the appearance.
Pitch to Olsen was in for a strike, so it's 0-1. Up high for a ball, 1-1. Time is called by Olsen. I haven't talked about it, but a special day all around baseball today is Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Pitch is in for a strike. Count 1-2. And Rowland, a guy that his defensive metrics probably got him in, more of the new wave of thinking for a guy who spent much of his career on the injured list. But Fred McGriff, for the longest time, was a guy who was sitting at 493 home runs. And people would just say, well, we didn't have 500 home runs. I mean, you're telling me 7 home runs shy doesn't make him a Hall of Famer.
Dude.
And finally they figured it out, and the Crime Dog gets inducted today. And here it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Sam Olsen. And if you've never had an opportunity to head to Cooperstown on induction weekend, it's awesome. The Hall of Famers that come back, there's a parade the night before through the village of Cooperstown. And actually, I think the best days of the day after the inductions is Olsen drives one to right, going back on it, and still going at the track and making the catch is DiGiacomo, and there's 2 outs. But what is cool, the day after the induction, and the guys are just, now they're relaxed. And it's a Q&A that they do back out at the facility where the induction is held. And it's just a Q&A where you can sit maybe 10 rows deep and hear the Hall of Famers tell stories and talk about their experiences from their careers and the weekend. And it's really a really awesome experience. And pitch to Sean Skelly is a ball 1-0. I've had the opportunity to head back to Cooperstown multiple times to see the induction ceremony. And again, just a congratulations to those guys. It's still one of the most exclusive clubs there is. And Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff, the newest members. Here, the Hawks need 4 to tie it. They're down to their final out. Sean Skelly trying to keep it alive. Pitch misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Sean today had a towering home run his first time up. His 6th of the year, his first in quite some time, as he'd been on the IL since June 29th. He fouls that pitch back before returning to the lineup last night. Since then, he has flied out, struck out swinging, and then took a called 3rd strike. For the Hawks today, they have left 10 base runners, 8 of them in scoring position. Pitch is in for a strike. And now they're down to their final strike. So Garcia trying to close it out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a 9-5 Great Falls lead here in the 9th. Pitch misses. And Great Falls had some guys headed toward the bus. They thought it was over. But Skelly lives to fight for one more pitch, and the count full at 3-2. Garcia back to the wind and the delivery. Chopped foul will do it again. If Skelly can reach, Tyler Jorgensen would get a chance. Misses outside, ball 4. And Garcia upset again, but that one was not close. The pitch before on the 2-2 that was called ball 3, that was a borderline pitch. The 3-2 pitch was well off the plate. So Skelly is aboard. And Tyler Jorgensen, the batter. That gets Anthony Walters to the on-deck circle, and more importantly, Alex Beza, the tying run, to the top step of the dugout. Fouled off the left side. The count 0-1. Hawks will have an off day tomorrow, and then they will bus to Ogden, the short 4 hours or so trip. Take on the Raptors Tuesday night. Line foul down the right field line, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. Jorgensen chased the high fastball at 96, and the ball game is over. So the Hawks dropped their 5th in 6 games in this series. And Adam, just at the end of the day, not enough quality starting pitching and not enough timely hitting. And with that, the Voyagers come in and start the second half with a vengeance, taking 5 out of 6 from the Hawks.
Not the series the Hawks wanted, but, there's always the next series. And luckily, they'll be able to get the opportunity against Ogden, which will be a tough task. But luckily enough, Ogden, they haven't had the best series against Missoula, so they're also on the losing half as well. So hopefully that will spark some more life for the Hawks, but it will be a tough road trip. But hopefully they'll be able to get on the win column yet again.
So Tyler Nauman picks up the victory. He improves to 2-3. Braden Spears, the losing pitcher, drops to 4-5. It was 2 hours and 52 minutes in front of 2,211. We appreciate you tuning in to Boise Hawks Baseball, brought to you by Flo Sports. Joining us for the game of the week by Flo Sports today. My partner, Adam Bridges, this is Craig Lawson saying thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll see you after the road trip.